So I took a DNA test, and it said I have Native American blood. Yep, apparently I'm part warrior. Part. History mystery. But here's the thing. What does that actually mean? Am I suddenly eligible to ride a horse across the plains and live off berries? Or am I just really good at eating tacos? On-screen text. Native American DNA. Truth or myth? Bold, cinematic style. Seriously, though, DNA is like that one friend who tells you the truth, but only in riddles. 1 minute it says, you're 0.3% Native American. The next history books are yelling, lies, your people were not here. And you're just sitting there wondering if you should start a tribal Instagram account or just question your life choices. By the end of this video, you'll see why DNA results can shock you, confuse you, and maybe even make you question your entire snack history. I mean, if a tiny strand of DNA can rewrite my story. What's next? My cat telling me I'm part lion. Now, before we dive deep into the chaos of DNA versus history, here's the deal. If you like confusing science that makes you laugh and question everything your parents taught you, smash that like button like it owes you money. Subscribe if you want more videos where I get shocked by my own ancestry. And don't forget to comment if your DNA ever told you you're secretly a Viking, or worse, related to a famous potato farmer. Oh, and share this with that one friend who always says, DNA doesn't lie. Let's see if they survive the truth. Trust me, they won't. All right, here it is. My DNA report. I stared at it like it was a menu at a fancy restaurant, except instead of pasta or steak, it says things like 2% Native American, 2%. That's basically the cosmic equivalent of getting a single French fry at the bottom of your bag and thinking, wow, I must be full. But here's the weird part. That tiny number somehow links me to an entire continent. One moment I'm sitting on my couch eating cereal. The next moment I'm mentally preparing for a tribal council. Do I need ceremonial face paint now? Or is it just okay to wave at a buffalo in the supermarket aisle? And let's talk about this 2% for a second. 2%. That's less than my weekly coffee consumption. Yet apparently, it makes me technically part Native American. So technically, I could start a history Instagram account, post a single feather in my cap, and call it heritage. Or, even better, start a tiny TikTok dance called 2% Warrior Energy. Trust me, it would go viral. But here's the kicker. DNA doesn't lie, but it doesn't tell the full story either. It's like that one friend who says, trust me, I know everything, while hiding 3 cliffhangers and a secret subplot. And suddenly, all the confident history books, the maps, the textbooks, they start whispering, well, maybe. And you're left questioning, did I just discover my roots or just my snack preferences? So stick around because by the end of this video, I'll show you why that tiny percentage of DNA can make you feel like a hero, a historian, or just a very confused taco enthusiast. Okay, let's slow down for a second, because this is where most people get it wildly wrong. DNA is powerful, but it's not Google Maps for your ancestors. It doesn't say turn left at 1600 BC, meet your great-great-great-grandfather, and collect cultural identity. No, it's more like a weather app from 3,000 years ago. Accurate, but still confusing. Here's what DNA actually does. It looks at tiny markers in your genes and compares them to modern populations. Not tribes, not family stories, not your grandma's legendary bedtime history. Just patterns. Basically, DNA says, people who look like this tend to come from around here. And that's it. No drum roll, no feathers included. So when your DNA says Native American, African, European, or Martian, relax. It's not handing you a cultural membership card. You don't unlock ancient languages, spiritual rituals, or historical responsibilities overnight. DNA doesn't teach you traditions. It doesn't download history into your brain like a software update. Installing culture, 2% complete. And here's the fun part. Some of my genetic markers trace back thousands of years. Thousands years. That means at some point, one of my ancestors was walking around thinking, fire is new, but I trust it. Now that's impressive, but connecting those dots today, that's tricky, because humans moved a lot. We migrated, mixed, relocated, and definitely did not leave name tags. This is why you'll see animated DNA helixes spinning next to migration maps. Because ancestry is movement, not a straight line. People crossed oceans, borders, climates, and common sense. DNA sees the footprints, but history explains why they're there. So if DNA gives you clues, history gives you context, culture gives you meaning, and identity, that's something you live in, not something a saliva tube assigns you. So enjoy your results, laugh at them, question them. But don't let 2% tell you who you are, unless it's telling you you're 98% confused. That part is usually accurate. Now, before anybody gets emotionally attached to a pie chart, let's talk about what the experts actually say, because geneticists, the people who stare at DNA for a living, have been quietly screaming one thing for years: percentages do not equal identity. Yep, that tiny number on your screen is not a personality test, a cultural passport, or a spiritual awakening. It's math. Calm down. According to geneticists, ancestry percentages are estimates, educated guesses. Basically science saying, based on what we know right now, this part of your DNA kind of resembles this group of people. That's it. No drum circle included. No automatic membership perks. You don't suddenly unlock ancestral Wi-Fi or get invited to a historical family reunion. And here's where things get messy. In a fun day, confusing way, historical migration patterns have been doing parkour across the planet for thousands of years. People moved. A lot. They crossed land bridges, oceans, borders, and common sense. So sometimes your DNA doesn't mean your ancestors lived here. It means your ancestors passed through here, waved, had kids, and kept moving. This is why experts always warn, don't confuse genetic similarity with cultural belonging. DNA can tell you who you're genetically similar to, not who you culturally belong with. Culture is lived, learned, practiced, and passed down. DNA just sits there silently like, I know things, but I'm not explaining myself. And let's be honest, DNA tests love percentages because percentages feel powerful. They look official. They make you want to sit up straight. 2% Native American sounds way more exciting than a few markers resemble a population sample we currently have. But experts know the truth. Those numbers shift. As databases grow, your results can change. Imagine updating your app and suddenly losing an ancestor. Awkward. So when geneticists see people making identity decisions based on tiny percentages, they gently, and sometimes loudly, remind us, heritage is more than molecules. Heritage is stories, language, land, memory, and community. DNA can support history, but it can't replace it. So maybe your DNA result isn't really about heritage at all. Maybe it's about science, about patterns, probabilities, and humanity's messy journey across the planet. And maybe that tiny percentage isn't telling you who you are, but reminding you how connected humans really are, which is deep. Also slightly annoying, but mostly deep. So, after all this science, experts, percentages, maps, and emotional pie charts, here's where I've landed. Am I Native American? Well, DNA says, yes. Culture looks at me, sips its coffee, and says, let's talk. And honestly, I love that answer. Because what I realized is this. My DNA didn't give me an identity crisis. It gave me curiosity. It didn't shout, this is who you are now. It whispered, there's more to your story than you thought. And that's kind of beautiful. Slightly annoying, but beautiful. I mean, think about it. Somewhere, thousands of years ago, one of my ancestors was walking around doing very human things, eating, surviving, probably making questionable decisions, while unknowingly passing down a genetic plot twist that would eventually pop up on my phone like a software update. New ancestry discovered. Cool. Thanks for the surprise. And here's the mature part nobody tells you. Identity isn't something you inherit like eye color. It's something you grow into. Culture isn't a percentage. It's participation. It's language, memory, community, responsibility. DNA can open the door to questions, but it doesn't walk you through the room holding your hand. So no, I'm not suddenly rewriting my biography or introducing myself like, "Hi, my name is me, and I'm 2% mysterious." But I am more aware of how connected we all are, how messy human history is, how migration, love, chaos, and survival is written into all of us, even if we don't see it at first. And honestly, that's fascinating. Not scary, not threatening, just fascinating, because it reminds me that we're all carrying stories bigger than our last name, our passport, or our playlist. Now I want to hear from you, because I know I'm not alone in this. Have you ever taken a DNA test and thought, wait, what? Did it surprise you? Confuse you? Make you Google things at 2 a.m.? Drop your story in the comments. I'm reading them all. And if this video made you laugh, think, or question even one thing you assumed about DNA, hit like, subscribe for more curious chaos, and share this with someone who still thinks DNA results are a personality test. Trust me, they need this. All right. Before you scroll away to watch another video that promises to change your life in 8 seconds, pause right here, because if you enjoyed unraveling DNA mysteries, shocking ancestry results, and the kind of story history politely forgot to mention, this channel is basically your new favorite rabbit hole. Think of this channel as that curious friend who asks uncomfortable questions, reads the fine print, and then laughs about it. We don't just look at DNA and clap, we ask, okay, but what does this actually mean? We talk about science and common sense. We respect culture and question percentages. And most importantly, we don't pretend a saliva tube knows more about you than your lived experience. So if that sounds like your kind of energy, go ahead and hit subscribe. Not aggressively, not dramatically. Just confidently, like someone who knows curiosity ages well. And while you're at it, hit like. Not because YouTube asked you to, but because it tells the algorithm, yes, I enjoy intelligent chaos with a sense of humor. Trust me, the algorithm feeds on approval. Now share this video with that one friend. You know the one. The friend who took a DNA test once and now introduces themselves like it's a Marvel origin story. I'm 3% this, 5% that, and emotionally 100% confused. Send it to them with love. This is an intervention. And here's the exciting part, because we're not done. In the next video, we're going deeper. We're talking about how a tiny DNA percentage can rewrite family history, challenge long-held beliefs, and sometimes start conversations nobody saw coming. Stories where one test changes how families see themselves, and not always in a neat, comfortable way. So don't miss it. Because the truth is, DNA doesn't just reveal the past. It reveals how much we don't know. And that's where the best stories live. Subscribe, like, share, stick around. This channel isn't about telling you who you are. It's about exploring the mystery of how we all got here. And trust me, it only gets more interesting from here. So now we're at the end. The credits are rolling. The music is fading. And this is the moment where YouTube quietly asks, so, what do you want to do next? Because you could leave. You could scroll. You could pretend this video didn't just make you rethink DNA, history, and that one cousin who won't stop talking about percentages. But let's be honest, your curiosity is already awake, and curiosity hates unfinished business. Which is why, right here, you're seeing two very tempting options. On one side, top 5 DNA surprises that shocked people. That one is pure chaos. Family secrets, unexpected ancestry, the kind of results that make people stare at their screen like, do we need to talk? And on the other side, Native American Ancestry Explained. That's the calm, intelligent one. The video that slows everything down and says, okay, let's explain this properly. No hype, no drama, just clarity. The kind your brain will thank you for. Now here's the funny part. YouTube is about to act like this is your choice. Like the algorithm isn't watching you closely, arms folded, whispering, I knew it. They're curious. Because once you click one, you're officially one of us. Welcome. We have questions. And before you go, one more thing. If you enjoyed this video, if it made you laugh, think, or slightly side-eye your DNA results, subscribe. Not because it's polite, but because this channel is for people who don't accept surface-level answers. We explore ancestry, identity, and history with humor, respect, and just enough chaos to keep it interesting. Subscribing doesn't mean we tell you who you are. It means we explore how humans got here. Together, it means more story history skipped over, more DNA surprises, more moments where science says one thing and culture says, hold on. So click a video. Any video, feed your curiosity, and subscribe for more ancestry secrets. Because trust me, the deeper you go, the better the stories get. See you in the next one.